being married to somebody and also managing their artistic career. And joining me right now is a wonderful woman who's been managing her husband, not only musically but also have a business together, the famous Rockstone's office. She is the manager of it, and her husband is none other than Mr. the grandpapa, of course, Reggie Rockstone, and she is Zilla Limann, and of course I said manager of Reggie Rockstone, and a beautiful wife and mother as well. How are you able to balance being a mother, businesswoman? How is that balance? How does it all work out for you?
Yeah, okay. Before I even go on, let me compliment your hair. I love the hair.
Thank
it's nice.
You so much.
Almost rocking the dreads.
Almost. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet, but just wanted to kind of change it up. So thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How do you find that balance?
Is definitely not easy. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy balance. You must understand that I came into this thing by default. I didn't meet Reggie and I was his man. He approached me as his manager and all of that. No, I met Reggie, got married, we had kids, and then along the way it happened. So it was something that happened by default and something that was learned along the way. I didn't learn to be a manager. I'm a medical doctor by profession. But I also firmly believe that certain things are not what they seem, academic as it were. Mm-hmm. But if you reason, you could figure out certain things. So it all happened by default. And so the combining the two is not at all easy, but doable.
You're managing it. Now, medical doctor, how then, once you took a career change, you shifted that career change because, hey, this is what the situation is. How then... what kind of reactions do you get from your family members or even maybe your former colleagues who says, hey, I can't believe she, stopped doing this really thing to go and be an artist manager? Most people don't even think there's any money behind it. Yeah. How do people react to you, or did they react to you when you switched over?
I must confess, the reaction is pretty predictable. Nobody can believe it. It's like, really? You actually stopped being a doctor to do all of this? And I say to them, you know what? I went to medical school. I suffered the suffering I suffered, and so I can afford to make the decision. Initially, my family was like, but then it just took them a few to realize at the end of the day, it's what I'm doing, it's my life, and it's what I love to do. But the good thing is that it's not like I've put being a doctor like completely on hold. I now and again do, some private one or twos. Okay. And of course, my family is always there for me to look after. And I actually do intend eventually to go back into practicing full scale and full time. So I don't see it as I literally threw that away and then went into it. It happened.
Okay, now I know apart from yourself, Annika, who is Ochame Kwame's husband, she also manages her husband, but she has a marketing degree. So at least, if I have a marketing background and my husband is doing something, then at least I know how to sort of market. With you, for the fact that you're from a medical background, yeah. Did you have to learn when the job was given to you, or to be now I'm managing my husband and also his businesses? What did you have to do to prepare yourself, or you just kind of jumped in?
I think I learned it. We've been together for about 12 years. I'm knowing him about 12 years now, and I didn't start officially managing him until just a few years back. Mm-hmm. So meaning all the time I was with him, I was learning unconsciously. I'm always with him. I ask questions. If you know me, you know I'm Madam Questions.
Oh,
you would not tell me something and I would not ask a question. Mm-hmm. I ask questions all the time. So I learned over the years, and Reggie is extremely knowledgeable. Sometimes I marvel. He knows everything and anything in all directions. Like, it's crazy. So I'm always learning from him. I'm always listening. I'm always, and of course, I'm a very social person. I go out a lot with him. I interact with the other artists. I interact with a lot of people. So I gathered all these things along the way. So it's not like I went to school, I learned, or, nothing like that. I just picked up the little things and then put them together. And of course, as I said, asking questions, I always ask from people who know more than me, and try and fuse it. And of course, talking to Reggie all the time, because he knows what it's about, he knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. He's very So it's the fusion of all these things.
Okay, well, they do say behind every, man or a successful man is a good woman. And generally, most women are always deemed as being in the background because whether you're a wife and so forth, but being the fact that you're his manager, you're not so much in the background. I said, if I come into Rockstones or Django's, the two of you are there. A lot of times, if there's events, you're usually there most events that he's at. Now, is that necessarily deemed as a good thing? Purely because I know how the music industry is. When we see how artists, generally, if there's an artist, wife is at home or girlfriend is at home, and there's a lot of females around who are usually there for their own mission as well. So with you being with your husband in a business capacity, is it a good thing, or does it sometimes hurt his image when they're like, oh well, his wife is there, so maybe his female fans will recoil?
Yeah. Answering this question is I'll probably be biased if I go one way or the other. It's yes and no, good and bad. Good in the sense that I'm always there, and my presence there, I think, is not that intimidating, because if you know me, I'm very light, I'm very open. I mean, the girls come around him, it's not a problem. The groupies have always existed and they will exist. At the end of the day, he comes home to me and the kids, and that's what is important. Me over there, I'm not one of those ladies who is at all. A lot of people always say they marvel at the way I can relate when you have all the ladies around him and all of that. That's not an issue for me. When it comes business, it is business. If I'm at Rockstone's office, I'm handling one aspect, he's handling one aspect. Our roles are pretty much defined. Okay. He's the host, he meets the people, he greets them, he gives them free drinks. I am at the back telling him, you are giving too many free drinks. Because we got I know, right? I'm checking the workers. I'm checking, is this on point? Have you done this? Who has cleaned here? So I'm not always in his face, he's not always in my face. We are like, we can be there together and we don't even see each other. It's like, where's Reggie? I have no idea where he is, because I'm busy doing something else and he's busy doing something else. So it's not always that case. And where we are now, I guess everybody has just learned to accept it as it is. I'm Reggie's wife, is his manager, and I'm there. But having said that, I'm not always present. Reggie is really understanding. So when there's something I don't have to be there, I ask him, do I have to be there? And he'll be like, no, don't worry, you don't have to come. Once we've put together everything out, put things in place to make it happen, I don't need to be there. He can, he's been doing this all these years without me, so he can do it. So if I don't have to, I'm not there. And if I'm there, I think it's comfortable.
Okay, now of course, when the whole Reggie joining VIP thing started, it began as a joke, like, yeah, I'm the new member of VIP. Most people didn't take it seriously, and then of course, as we came to, have come to learn, that they are a new group now, which they're doing really, really well. When the initial, I guess, Reggie joining VIP to become VVIP thing came about, how did you take it? How did you advise him on that, on at least going forward or not?
Well, the first time he told me, I'm not big on social media to begin with. Reggie is huge.
Oh, he's massive. Yes, I'm sure he's on Twitter now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Reggie, hi, tweet at us. Yes,
he's always on his social media game. I'm not. So then he told me, and it was funny. We laughed about it. He didn't tell me as in, what do you think? Because we were not thinking along those lines. It sort of happened because as he was going and he was playing along, it was just evolving. And I always support him in whatever he does. In this particular instance, I did not feel it was a bad choice, or I did not feel we had to sit down and discuss. It just happened, and we went with the flow. And then that was it. And they came together, did the song. And I might say this is like one of the most trying times putting together this video. It was crazy.
How come?
I still have my records. Literally, because in as much as VIP, okay, now Prodigal and Ezil have their manager Bulldog, and I represent Reggie, so it's two forces coming together. But they've come together and they are learning from each other and taking a lot from each other. At the end of the day, Reggie is the grandpapa. He's older than them. They respect him. Lately, they are always with us. They come to our house, they listen to him, they follow. So naturally, and of course, Reggie is like really artistic and I open basically. So it's like more or less directing. And of course, I'm his manager, so everything falls on us. So it's been, they are really nice people to work with. My daughter loves Prodigal. She has a crush on my 5-year-old daughter has a crush on Prodigal. But it's working great. Everything is going really, really well.
Okay. Yeah. Now we actually had a bit of a discussion about the fact that they've come together. since you're in there, you're pretty much part of the whole VVIP family. Do you see this lasting in the long run, or you think this could just be something that it will just be maybe a one album, a couple of singles thing? Do you, from how, give us the insight. Is this VVIP thing here to stay?
For life.
For life, yes, VVIP for life.
Well, I don't know if you could say anything is for life, but I don't see it expiring anytime soon. I see it building, because right. I mean, unknown to all of us or to the public, they are recording. They've done a few songs together. They've already started shooting the next video, which they will surprise us with. I haven't even seen a lot of that. I wasn't really involved in that one, but I see them going a long way, because every day something new is coming up. Something new is, Zilla is always bringing something. He goes, does something, comes, brings to Reggie. What does he think? Beats. So I think they'll be there for a while.
Okay, now the fact that, working with your husband generally I'm sure, like with any relationship, there's issues. Now, how do you separate? So, for example, if you and Reggie have a fight or a disagreement in work, but you're going to be going home together, and you have to, and this is a work issue. If right now I have any, disagreement with anybody I work with, please, when I walk out the door, I don't have to see you. I don't go to home with you. I don't care. So how then do you resolve? We had an argument, which is work, but when we get home, this is a work issue, which needs. Can you separate those emotions?
You have no idea how hard it is. It is extremely hard. But you know what? A long time ago, okay, not so long ago, when I was actively working as a doctor, when I was in a hospital, in the surgical department, always seeing all these accidents, people coming in, dying, all of that, I made a resolution then. You know what? Life is too short. Why spend life fighting when you could be loving? I could go out and not come back again. Flimsy fight, and then that's it. He could go out and not come back again.
God forbid.
Exactly. God forbid. Touch wood, it won't happen. But then life is too short. So then I realized that, all these unnecessary quarrels, I mean, definitely we'll disagree and all of that is not necessary. And then sometimes you have these arguments, and then there's something I need to ask him, Reggie, what do we do with this? And I can't, because, so I just learned to let go. And he also learned to do the same. So in as much as, yes, we might have a disagreement or whatever it is, when it comes to work, even though it might not be a very pleasant whatever, it's like, so I mean, this is, what do you think? Or we have to do this, or you have to go here, or this what it is. We learn to resolve quickly and then put it away and go forward, because at the end of the day, we need to move on. Business needs to go on. So that's where we are on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time. I don't even know how time has actually almost flown by. Lastly, you said the groupies will always be there, but I know the fact that you're on TV or your husband's a musician, there are going to be some females who are going to actively whatever they do, try and pursue your husband. Lastly, how do you deal with that?
I'm naturally not a jealous person. Actually, sometimes that person might be pursuing, I wouldn't even notice. The bottom line is that I trust my husband.